Hey there. So for today's video, I've got something a little a little different from astrology, but also is related to astrology. So today's video is about how I want to talk about romantic relationships, marriage, and horoscopes. Okay? And I want to talk to you about how we should not bring astrology and horoscope into the equation of marriage and romantic relationship yet before we solve certain issues first, that is being ignored by a lot of people. Okay, now first of all, okay, we need to understand that we are very primitively hardwired for survival. All right, the lower part of us, the survival mind, is very hardwired to, when you look at attraction and natural selection, when we are finding for a partner or a mate. Okay, we always, there is a part of us which is very instinctive. Okay, instinctive in the sense that when we look at a person, when a woman looks at a man, she's instinctively analyzing the fact that if he is financially well endowed, stable, well settled, and able to take care of her and the future offspring. Okay, we are always hardwired to protect the well-being of the offspring that we are to produce. Now, when a man looks at a woman, okay, he is already analyzing her physicality and her fertility. Okay, they may not even think, but that's how we are wired. It may not even seem that way, but we are hardwired this way by nature to create better offsprings for the future. So men and women, we look at genetic, we're analyzing all of that. We may not even realize, but part of our brain is doing that job for us. So this is why you realize that you either like somebody or you don't like, or you reject someone or you accept someone. Okay, and another thing is, you bring this part of you, okay, the very primitively hardwired for survival part of you, and you apply that, put it in that equation with the current economy that is going on, the tone of the economy, where inflation, with the wars, okay, inflation rises with time, and then people tell, oh, the economy is doing really good. Well, when the economy does really well, who does well? Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein and his friends, okay, they do very well, and the rest of the people just got to make ends meet. So you work hard and you say, oh, the economy is doing really well. Well, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein's best friends, they're the ones who are going to benefit from a very thriving economy. Now, when it comes to relationships, you take these and apply to a practical world that we live in. We live in a highly commercialized, consumerist society. Everywhere you turn, there is advertisements. Get the latest model of orange that is now out. Get the latest model of WMB that is going to come out. Okay, and trying to taking our ego and then making us salivate to these things, so that we can rise up in status and reputation. Always the perfect food for the lower mind. And so here we are, and then wondering why relationships are not working. The steep increase in divorce rates. I don't need to go out of my country. Just being here, and people of my community are having divorce rates higher, soaring way higher than a commercial jet. All right, why is that? What's going on? Let's explore that. Okay, most most of us have been socially engineered, brainwashed, conditioned since young, um, to be a consumer in this world. Products. So naturally, when we are searching for that partner, we analyze them. What can they give me? Right? And here's the thing. You don't realize that you are being attracted to, you fall in love with the idea of a person's illusion. Okay? You fall in love with the idea of a person's illusion or Maya. That's what's going on in this world. And once that illusion gets slipped, Maya is removed, you cannot stand the human that the person is. This is what's happening. Okay, I see people get married in 1 month and then it goes off. That's what's happening. People cannot stand people anymore. We have better relationships with our iPhone, right? And we have longer relationships with our iPhone. Yeah. We don't trade our iPhones for how many years? 5 years, 10 years? But a relationship, 1 month. That's where we are. And this is happening, and you want to ask me, Amala, can you check my horoscope with the guy I'm dating right now? I'm dating this girl. Can you check our horoscope? Do you think we're compatible? Do you think our chemistry is good? I'm like, folks, calm your horses, calm your horses, calm down. You got to calm down and look into what's going on here. We got to probe why relationships are not working because, Indian people, when it comes to marriage, horoscopes are like the first thing that they see before they even get to know. Okay? And lots of people see these horoscopes and it shows a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And the next thing, these people get married and then they're divorcing the next. Okay? Yeah, the Portam system. This is why I don't look at it. It has no validity whatsoever. A lot of people, we see people as products now. What can I consume out of that person? So it's no more, oh, you're Chitra Nakshatra, I'm Shravana Nakshatra. Oh, are we compatible? Of course, Chitra Nakshatra and Shravana Nakshatra is very compatible. Okay? And I'll tell you why in other videos. If you're Rohini Nakshatra, if you're Anuradha, and the person reading is Anuradha, of course you're very compatible. Opposites attract. Anuradha and Rohini are opposites of the sky. So it's opposites attract. You don't even need to, I wouldn't even need to see that. But are you okay here? Right? And trust me, I'm talking all of this social issues, social and economic issues. People these days living in highly competitive and consumerist economy. Okay? And how would that affect our personal relationships? So I'm not going to go so fast into astrology. Talking about what happens if Mars is in the first and seventh axis, Rahu Ketu in the first and seventh axis, or you have Neptune in first and seventh axis. I'm not even going to go there yet. Because from even a practical approach that a lot of us are aware of, we're not even organizing, that part of our brain, right? So, we need to take a step back, relax, and settle this issue first before we get into a relationship, before we can, date somebody. And make sure if you're trying to work on yourself in this particular part, you want to date someone, you want to get married, have a family, and you're working on yourself, make sure the partner that you date and looking to settle down with is also somebody who is healing themselves because we're all, in today's world, exposed to cinema, exposed to all these brainwashing tools, programs that has brainwashed us, the beauty standard of today for a woman. And then you ask yourself, why so many women and men going for plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery? Because the beauty standard is so high. And I see so many women out there, if they look average, if they look a little simple, all right, men are not interested. They just walk away and they just ignore. They ghost these women. And then when it comes to a women looking at a man and his financial health, and the same thing happens. Okay. Well, yes, of course, our survival instincts and our survival self is always looking for this criterion. All right, both men and women. But then we tend to forget that because we are now too much into being a consumerist, we look at the other person as a product to be consumed. And then once, we suck them dry and they're no longer relevant or significant to us, we view people as machine-like, all right? Very machinistic perspective rather than a person with actual emotions. We have forgotten that they're actually human. So how do we deal with this? We need to deal with these issues first before we can see, oh, your Bharani Nakshatra, he's Satabishtak Nakshatra. Would it be a good, compatible match? We need to solve these issues ground first, at the ground level first, before we can go to the sky and, play with the stars, if you know what I mean. Okay. So guys, however, I will make videos on compatibility and all of that, but you got to realize these things first. And on top of that, of course, in a highly competitive economy, okay, where it's making the poor people poorer and making Jeffrey Epstein's friends richer by the day, scam is going to rise. There's going to be a lot of crime. There's going to be a lot of con artists at work as well. So that is a whole nother issue, going on. So got to figure things out at a ground level. This is where, I'm a very practical person, and I believe we need to approach things from the ground level first before you can go up. And you know what? If you ask me, if you're madly in love with someone, if you're madly in love with someone, that person's in love with you, I don't think you need to punch your digits, your DOB into astrology softwares and then check things out. You don't have to. You're attracted to one another for a reason. And trust me, attraction is not just limited to evolutionary, how evolutionary psychology puts it, I'm looking at a man and he's very wealthy and I want to settle down with him. Or a man looking at a woman, oh, she looks good, I want to settle down. No. It's so much more. It's so much more why we, when it comes to attraction. And if you come in as a couple and then I check your chart and I'm going to tell you, I'll have the light bulb moment and I'll tell you, oh, look, see, this is why you attract each other, because both your Ketus, or your nakshatra compatibility. So I will talk about these stuff in another video while you guys think about what you're going to do with your neural networks that you have conditioned over the years with television programs, and how you have been socially engineered by the world around you, the commercial, highly commercial, materialistic world around you. All right. So for this video, I guess that's it. I rest my case and I will see you in the next one. Bye.